Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi, Sham, Rakakodash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah equals He is, He exists. That's the Father's true name. Sham means in the name. Yahawashi equals He saves, He delivers. That's the Son's true name. And Rakakodash is how you say a spirit that's holy, a spirit that's set apart. Put it all together, it's Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakodash. Those are the names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which we baptize in. We're baptized via this word, via this fire, not simply by water. Okay? There's no need for water. Right? You can get the baptism by water, but if you don't have this understanding, then how is that going to benefit you? You know. Second of all, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which has taught us this truth, and that teach and rule well in sincerity. Shalom, shalom to the Lord's hopeful elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children, maintaining themselves, keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of their ability. Alright, it's your brother Yerami Kazak, back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah Bashim, Yahawashi Bashim, Kakadash. This lesson will be entitled, We Say What They Won't Say. Alright, we say what they won't say. Now what you're seeing with the ceasefire being over, which we've said it before, that it was not going to continue. It was not going to last. Right? We're approaching those times of WW3 and, rejoicing in that moment. Okay, that we're here. And it's beautiful. And what people don't want to actually address is that we're here, man. Is that this kingdom is falling. Okay? That's what you need to actually open your eyes up to see, that it's over for this place. America, Europe, France, Germany, Russia, any kingdom that's ruling, right? Anybody that has rulership at this point in time, it's done. Our king is coming back. Let's go to Revelations, the 19th chapter real quick. It's over, man. So this is, we'll start at 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come. That's what we're seeing. So we are rejoicing. We are happy. We are cherishing this moment. And his wife hath made herself ready. The elect is sealed. The elect is ready to get up out of here. Brothers are all in unison and they're ready to leave Babylon. Okay, the breakdowns are all out there. It's like, what else needs to be broke down? Right now, we just letting you know what time we're in. We measured the times diligently. We can recognize that Yahawah Bashim Yahawashi is visiting the earth. Okay, first and foremost, through relaying these messages and giving these messages out to his people, and then through the earthquakes, the diverse weather patterns, diverse earthquakes, the volcanoes erupting, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the intensity, the violence, right, that's coming down on this place. So, and then at that same time, we have been made, adorned, been beautified, been sanctified to be ready for this marriage, to be ready for this ceremony which is about to take place. So, his wife have made herself ready, which is the church. Verse 8, and to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. Right? White symbolizes purity. We have been purified. We are made virgins. We are undefiled. We are not taking on these practices of these other nations and still calling on JC, calling on Yahuwah, calling on Yahweh, calling on Yeshua, calling on these false names no more. No longer are we ignorant and subject to these individuals in that type of way. Yeah, we got to pay bills and, that's what it is. That's part of captivity. But as far as taking on their practices and their customs and their cultures, we're done with that. Right? So we are undefiled now. We're moving properly. We're moving the correct way. to the best of our ability. We're made perfect, meaning we're mature in this truth. And then when Yahawashi comes, our husband comes and takes us into the wedding chamber, into those chariots, then we're going to be joined with him, right? Being joint heirs, having the type of body that he has, being under his house, right? Keeping it going. Verse 9, and he saith unto me, Write, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, These are the true sayings of power. Right? And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not, I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi. Worship power, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy. So if a brother is not coming in the spirit of prophecy and speaking of things to come, right, and breaking it down the correct way with the proper doctrine, then there's no light in him. If he's talking about this place is going to continue, your college fund and all of that, you're going to be able to go to college and go get your bachelor's and your master's and your career, you're going to, all of that stuff of this world is done. If they're telling you this, then they're not of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi, man. If they're coming in a different name, they're not of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Okay? And this is, discernment is a problem in our nation. Well, you can't discern that these guys are not the guys. Because our nation has always been on some popularity type shit. Where they got the views, where they got the, they got the money, they have the buildings, this is who y'all know. Jake's always equated money and riches and gold to be that the Most High is working with these individuals, when that's never been the case. All right? It's never been the case, man. You can read the stories. He took David, the littlest of his brothers, the youngest of his brothers, who was not in the military, all right? But the Most High was dealing with him. And you didn't see that. You didn't have to know that. But when he told you, hey, he slayed a bear, slayed a lion, he pulled a sheep from the lion's mouth, he did these miraculous feats, right? You just take it as him lying. And the Most High is dealing with him. The Most High can take and choose who he wants to be his vessels. It does not have to be somebody that you looked at and they had all the social media appeal. Okay? Verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. And going back to the point I just brought out, when Yahawashi came, because they were looking for him to be and appear a certain way, they couldn't see that it was him. They couldn't recognize that this is the king, because they had in their mindset a certain way that he's supposed to look. He's supposed to come and destroy Rome, right? And when he didn't do that, they was like, nah, this is not the Messiah. Crucify him, crucify him. But he did everything that was written of him. He fulfilled what was written of him. He fulfilled the prophecies. And this goes back to, our people back then didn't read the Bible, just how now they didn't read the Bible. So back then it was just the Old Testament and the Apocrypha, the manuscripts, and it would be read at the synagogue. Our people was not paying attention back then. They were caught up on carnal means. You were looking more so at your captivity, and this has the end and all of that. And you thought Yahawashi was supposed to do this, and he didn't do it for you. So then you was against him. So if we don't tell you what you want to hear, then I guess we're against you. You're against us, as the scriptures say, man. Let's get that real quick. This is Galatians 4:16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? So if you don't hear from us what you want to hear, then hey, we're not the guys. That's why I said the title of the lesson is we say what they won't say, knowing that it may be perceived and took unappealing to say it, to this world, but we're not here for this world. We don't love this world, so we're not going to talk to please this world. There's no point in that. Okay? We're doing what is pleasing in the eyes of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Okay? So if we're telling you that America is going to be destroyed, and we bringing out scriptures to prove it, and we're letting you know these things that, hey, this is what it is. That's just what it is. That's what the scriptures say. It's nothing you can change. Right? So Yahawashi is coming in that white horse, which is a chariot. 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, breaks that down. You know, constantly we have done plenty of videos letting you know this is how he's coming. In a chariot which the entire planet will see. A white horse, horse representing power, white representing purity. He's coming in that. And he that sat upon him was called faithful and true. Faithful and true. He's faithful and true. He's going to do what he has said. He's not a liar. And by him sitting upon that, he's sitting inside the chariot, and he's commanding the chariot and doing all these type of things from the chariot, sending out lasers and incinerating people and sending forth angels from the chariot to what? To gather his people from the four corners of the earth. That's what he's gonna do. So this is what you know is the fathership, right? And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. So he's coming with a righteous mindset to judge and to make war. It's not through wickedness. He's going to bring what? War to this place. Pain, death, perils, sorrows, judgments, in righteousness, indignation. Verse 12, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself. So his eyes were as a flame of fire, all the death and destruction that he's bringing. And on his head were many crowns. He's taken the kingdoms from all these different... These people don't want to hear that. We're telling your president that he's no longer going to be president. We're telling these Edomites, these banking families, they're going to lose power. All right, they're no longer going to rule over the nations with anger, how they do, as it said in Isaiah the 14th chapter. These Christians in these churches don't say these things, man. They don't have the spirit of prophecy. And they won't dare say these things because their congregations would be destroyed. People would no longer pay attention to them. Because we're telling you things that you do not want to hear. Things that are not appealing to you. And what is it? Because you feed your flesh. Most people move off of lust and lasciviousness just to appease their flesh. Okay? That's all it is. So when we're telling you that Yahawashi on his head were many crowns, so he's taking all the kingdoms from these places, he's not going to live in America. He's going to destroy this place. He's not going to live in a palace that another man built. He's going to destroy that palace and have the heathens build up. Right? We're not going to deal with a woman that another man dealt with. No. This place has to be purified and cleansed. And then we will come in. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. Name goes into the authority, his character, all right, his position. No man knew. No other man had this position. All right. Verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Power. This is Yahawashi. Who is Yahawashi? The Word. John 1:14. The Word made flesh. So this is the Word. This is Yahawashi. The entire book. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, the angels, the Halalyam. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of almighty power. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's that position. That's the authority that Yahawashi is going to display. So by us telling you these things, these are things that you do not want to hear, because these heathens, these 2/3 of our nation do not want to hear, because their flesh is caught up in these kingdoms. Their flesh is caught up in the ways of this nation, man. So you don't want to see it end. You don't want to see it come to a close. But ultimately, prophets have never, we're not coming. And yeah, it's sweet things. It's sweet things that you may hear, that we may say. Okay, such as the kingdom and how it's going to be. But you also got to hear the lamentations and woe. Let's get that. This is Ezekiel 2:10. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations and mournings and woe. So you got to hear the bitter parts that's coming. You got to hear the persecution, the betrayal. You got to hear about all these different type of situations that's going to occur, that's going to happen. It's not all sweet, man. Sugar is not good for you, right? Overindulging in it. It's not good for you, you know? So it's a balanced story that we have to live through. Every story, what makes a story, man? Seeing the hero be low and then overcome a situation. Like you want to see a basic, plain story? And that's what we're realizing. A lot of these people, they're caught up in la la land. It's not realistic. The triumphing is what makes the story so amazing. Overcoming the obstacles that the, protagonist has to overcome. So to tell you about these things that we have to overgo, and come through, this is where the fame and the glory comes from. Going through these situations, being in the midst of Babylon, and this enemy being such a fierce enemy, having ultimate control, having, the obstacles, the challenges he was widely outmatched. Okay? He was compassed about. He was surrounded by everything. And everything was falling apart, but somehow you made it up out of there. You know how these movies be. They all taken from the scriptures. It's the climax of the movie. The bomb is about to blow up, 5 seconds left on the clock, and you gotta run, and you gotta get out of there before it explodes. And you somehow make it. These are the things that these people don't want to hear. Let's get that real quick. In 1 Peter, what's that? The 4th chapter. This is 1 Peter 4. And let's start at 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. Most people don't want to know that it's a fiery trial that they got to undergo. It's many darts that's going to hit you, and you're going to bleed, man. All right? You're going to feel pain. You're going to feel sorrow. You're going to feel hurt. You're going to feel oppressed. Was you ever oppressed? If you didn't feel oppressed? You got some of our people that thinking they going through this and they're not feeling anything. Then really the Most High is not dealing with them if he's not chastising you. We feel the oppression from this oppressor. Right? Because the Most High is dealing with us. He's putting us through these trials, and he's trying to see if we're going to fold, break, bend, or we're going to call upon him even more. So, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial. This is what has been told to you had to come, which is to try you as though some strange thing happened unto you. It's not strange. It's not strange. This is what was supposed to happen. So when somebody betrays you, goes against you in that type of way, and they don't want to serve Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi, it's not strange. It was supposed to happen. That's all you got to do is chop it up as, that's the will of Yahawah. That's the will. 13. But rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Hamashiach's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy. You are partakers, meaning you share in that suffering. You are a partaker. Most of this world does not care. Right? They don't want to suffer like Yahawashi suffered. They just want to reap the reward and the benefit. It's that gum syndrome where you have some gum, you in class, you got gum, you pull it out, you put a piece in your mouth. Not everybody wants some gum, but nobody put in. Nobody went to the store and bought that gum with you. But they all want to reap the reward of you bringing it. We know we have to suffer with Hamashiach. We got to get our own gum. We got to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. Now, he helps us by telling us where he got it from. Hey, where you get that? I never seen that gum before. Where you get that, bro? Oh, yeah, I got that from this store down here on this block. Boom, boom, boom. You got to go in there. You got to come this way, though. That's the only way you're going to get it because it's off the secret menu. The mysteries. We have been given these mysteries. Not all have been given these mysteries. So therefore, we can work out our own salvation with fear and trembling and get some understanding and enjoy this gum, which you know as the living water or the oil, whichever way that has been metaphorically given to you. All right? Verse 14, if ye be reproached for the name of Hamashiach, not for your name, but for the name of Yahawashi Hamashiach, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of power resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. And not in vain ways, where you're disturbing the peace to get arrested, and you thinking that is a stripe. No, that's not. You did that on purpose to claim some type of fame. That's foolishness, man. And you will be looked at as a fool. It's a difference between using wisdom and actually getting really persecuted. Okay? But that's going back to tell you that this world, man, they're caught up in lust. They're caught up in lasciviousness and greed. They want to make a name for themselves. Who are you? We're nobody. What name do you want to make? All these names in Babylon, such as the Tupacs, the Biggies, the Jay-Z's, the Diddy's, we're not going to remember that bullshit. Who? Tupac who? We ain't going to remember that. None of that. The Will Smiths, the Denzels, all these names which have been made, they don't matter. They're going to be remembered as the least in the kingdom. That's what they're going to be remembered as, because they were what? They were the greatest in Babylon upon the worldly standard. They were not the greatest in the eyes of Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. So therefore they were not a part of the elect. Verse 15, but let none of you suffer as a murderer or as an evildoer. Slaki, but let none of you suffer as a murderer or as a thief or as an evildoer or as a busybody in other men's matters. Focus on your crown and let nobody take it. Focus on what you need to do to make it into the kingdom, man. Okay? 1 second. Get this up out of here. 16. 1 Peter 4:16. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify power on this behalf. Really, we're not Christians, all right? But you're suffering as being in this faith. That's simply what it means. You serve Yahawah Shem Yahawashi, and you suffer for it. Let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify power on this behalf. Standing boldly with all confidence. Are you doing that? For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of power. So it begins in our nation. That's the house of power. And first and foremost, with these individuals that say they come in the name of Yahawah Shem Yahawashi, but it's going to be shown that they haven't. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of power? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Right? So barely making it out. Going back to the movie scene where you're barely getting up out of there. By the hair of your chinny chin chin, man. You're barely getting up out of there. So you got to consider that it's not going to be an easy ride. And that's going back to us saying what they won't say. They will not tell you that. The churches will not teach you about the nukes. They won't teach you about ICBM missiles. They fail. They just left that part out of the sermon. You know? Let's go to Jeremiah 50. Let's start at verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. So the people, the flock, being lost sheep, the shepherds being what? The pastors, the teachers, the false prophets. You know, because these are the ones that cause to go astray. So if you're not teaching the proper doctrine and the proper understanding, then you're causing one to go astray. So these are the shepherds. Now, Yahawah has brought up men according to his heart, which will actually bring you back into the sheepfold and give you the proper way and the correct way to abide and to seek salvation. All right? So their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. These shepherds that you cleaved onto. And that could be of these false religions too. Verse 7. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahawah, the habitation of justice, even Yahawah, the hope of their fathers. That habitation of justice, the place where you find true balance and true peace, you left at. And you sinned against that. All right? That's ultimately what happened. And now, you sitting back wondering why all this stuff is happening to you, why you don't have the understanding, and why a nuke is about to come down on your head, because you left the habitation of justice. Verse 8, remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. ICBM missiles coming out of silos, which the church just continues to take out of their sermons, which this is something that you should teach constantly. Right? We have to put the fear of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi in these people. We persuade men by these terrors, by these situations that are to come. We letting them know this is what's going to happen. Famine, pestilence, lamentations, woe, FEMA camps. All right? All this type of stuff is coming to your front door. So get right. Repent, convert, call them the proper names, the correct names. But the church, man, they're not trying to help. They're more so trying to hurt and hinder and destroy you. And that's what they do every single day. We say what they won't say. Keeping it going. Those arrows shall be as a mighty expert man, meaning none is going to miss. They're going to come out of these silos and the angels are going to be upon them, and they're going to maneuver and move. And you'd be like, how can a missile move is going 20,000 miles per hour? Because of what? Because of RFID CHIPs. Every missile has a RFID CHIP in it. So with that type of technology, as Elon Musk said, we summoning the demon. These missiles are going to have demons upon them. Intelligence, AI is with these missiles. So when it sees a missile trying to come and shoot it out, it's going to calculate the path, and then it's going to move to avoid that missile, and then it's going to hit its mark. That's why I'm saying it's sent from an expert marksman. Their arrows shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. Like Legolas from Lord of the Rings, man. Man, he would take, you watch the movie, he would take like 3 arrows, put it in one bow, and hit 3 different targets with those 3 arrows. That's an expert. It was cold. Like that. Or like Robin Hood. You know? And you had people of our nation that do these things, man. These are based off the scriptures. Those type of feats are based off the mighty men that was with King David. All these type of martial arts. We have martial arts far before these individuals. Okay? So these missiles are not going to miss. And then you add the amount of missiles, 200 million that are coming. They're not going to miss. Every warhead, every missile has about 10 or 15 warheads in it. All right? So that's another thing to consider. Verse 10, and Chaldea shall be as a spoil, all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahawah. What is that? That's a major place of divination, of witchcraft, of the dark arts. All right? The gospel is known as the good spell. This is the proper understanding. This is the Holy Spirit. So Chaldea is a place that's like we all the way on the right hand, they all the way on the left hand. So Hollywood, these places which are pushing out all these different type of spells and destroying you with these spells, as Esau has always destroyed you with spells. He put Eve under a spell coming from a doctrine that he gave to her. And he made that doctrine look appealing. Why would she go and mess with it? It looked appealing to her. She was like, ooh, what does this button do? Some DD shit. So it looked good to her. She took it and she took it back to Adam. And you know, a woman, she coming, she talking all sweet and shit. We should do this because you got this from another man. You know? It's wickedness. But the evil grain, you know, the evil seed was sown into Adam. That's in 2nd Esdras, the what's that, 4th chapter, around 30. You know, so it was supposed to happen for us to fall. All of that was supposed to happen. And it will not happen again. As I said earlier, we have been purified, sanctified, being made as virgins, being adorned, being dressed up, being beautified, to move into this position of being that bride, to go into the wedding feast. So we're going to be beautiful in that wedding ceremony. We have to be. Verse 11. Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because you are grown fat as the heifer of grass, and bellows as bulls. These Edomites have grown fat, man. And this is another thing that they won't say, but we say what they won't say. Telling you that the YT man is this devil. All right, that he is that old serpent. He is Satan. He is that dragon. You know? We say this, y'all are racist. The Most High is racist. You understand? He's only dealing with one particular nation. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being what you would call it as a nationalist. We are nationalists. You are a nationalist. Unless you living in a fantasy world. If you walk into the cafeteria at lunch in school, you see a table full of white people. And you see a table full of Jakes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Which one you about to sit at? I don't care, I'm a new kid. I'm about to go sit with my people. I'm not about to sit with these fucking crackers, man. Okay? We don't think the same. We don't act the same. We're not talking about the same type of things. They can't go through what I'm going through. They're not experiencing the same type of life that I'm experiencing. So we are nationalists, man. Alright? This world is on some cupcake fake shit, bro. Everybody is racist. That's why you got this so-called this Jake out there with three rednecks, and now he missing, and they all good. And they found his body. Because white people don't play right. They do all little type of perverse type of jokes and stuff of that nature, man. They like to, they weird, man. Because it's going back to their nature. As Romans, as Greeks, how they always was. Homosexuality. Going back to them caves as well. This is what they practice. This is what they like to indulge in. When Jacob beat your ass off of that shit, bro, you try to come around with these white jokes. Look at their shows. Family Guys, the Futuramas, the Simpsons, the American Dads. Look at these shows. All this perverse nature. They're extremely perverse society. And this is what rules the earth at this point in time. Even us addressing Pride Month, this is what these Christians won't say. We say the hard things. It's not hard things, it's common sense. Verse 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nation shall be a wilderness, a dry land and a desert. America is going to be what? A desert land where desert creatures dwell. Your mother, Great Britain, all right, will turn against you. She shall be sore confounded. And we're seeing that now. As America continues to be more in bed with the small hats, the rest of NATO, EU is turning against America. So the place where America came out of is sore confounded. And it's getting to the point where, hey, everybody's going to have to send nukes on America. Verse 13, because of the wrath of Yahawah, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. We say what they won't say, what they do not want to hear. Your precious country will be destroyed, will be took away before your eyes, and you will burn in it if you are not with Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Right? And that's what you don't want to hear. That's what these people don't want to hear. The spirit of prophecy is something they don't want to listen to, because what it means, it destroys their flesh. All the desires that they hold on to, which is their strong tower, their little security system, their job, their career, their kids that they're raising up to go to college, and you want to send your daughter to college to be a whore. You know, she come home, you don't even recognize her no more because she got so many damn bodies on her. We say these things too. You don't want to address these things. Your little princess is not your little princess anymore. She went to college and got turned out. Nah, not my baby. Yes, your baby. This is what America produces. Whores, harlots, prostitution. OnlyFans is just prostitution in a digital form. All right, that's all that is. They think they're so much better because they're doing it off of social media. These people live in a false reality, man. The standard that you need to live by is the Bible. That's it. And when we say that, y'all hate the Bible. Y'all go against the Bible because it forces you to live the proper way. But it's what? It's a habitation of life for you. It's a standard of life for you. These are the laws of life. This is a book of instruction. If you deny these instructions, then you what? You love death because you hate Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahawah. Now, how do we know that this is not talking about Iraq? Because Iraq is inhabited today. Okay? It's not talking about ancient Babylon. It said that this place shall be wholly desolate. Nothing shall grow here. Never again. People living in Iraq, right? They have an economy. People are you know, they're straight over there. They're doing what they do. Okay? And furthermore, that's not the place of major imports. Right? America imports 3.5 trillion a year. Okay? And it's probably higher at this point, you know, with them tariffs. All right? So this is the major place of economy, the major place of commerce, the major place where everything is being imported. This is where your Dow Jones and your NASDAQ is, the stock market, which the world runs off of. You had the World Trade Center, right? That's a place of trade for the world. Make it make sense. You got the stock market, the dollar, which is collapsing. That's another thing we say, what they don't want to say. The dollar collapsing. You don't want to hear that the dollar is collapsing. You don't want to hear that they're about to take all your crypto and all of that and put it in a UBI. And then everybody's going to get paid the same wages. Everybody's made the same upon using this RFID chip. One chip to rule them all. On my Frodo bag and shit, man. Okay? You don't want to hear these things. That your freedom is being took away. You know, your First Command, your First Amendment, Second Amendment is going to be done away with. Free speech, nah, no more. The right to bear arms, no more. They have to take your guns. How are they going to implement all these different type of laws and you still have the means? And this is why people are going to fight back. Civil war, purge, race wars. America has strategically been built up with guns flooding the streets by the CIA, placing guns everywhere, where it's more weapons here than in the army of France. You have more weapons in American households than a country, most countries. And that's facts, that's stats. You can look that up. So this place is a ticking time bomb. It's a war zone waiting to happen, man. That's what it is. It's a war zone waiting to happen. And when it happens, when it gets to going, it ain't no stopping it. But that's what the elites want to happen. So therefore they can come in and bring all their different type of draconian measures. He stole an orange, off with his head. He's teaching the Bible, off with his head. I was just trying to feed my baby. Boom, boom, boom. Off with his head. Off with his baby's head. Draconian measures. These are things that they did beforehand. Extreme measures, man. Being killed. The punishment will not fit the crime. Alright? Such as, hey, them people in the alligator Alcatraz. People being picked up and put in planes and thrown into the Pacific Ocean, never to be heard of again. These type of judgments. All right. Once again, verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahawah. You have Russian troops on the west coast. You got Russian troops in submarines, all right, off the Pacific and the Atlantic. You got China, same thing, in submarines. You have nations that are surrounding this place. Mexico is against her, even though Mexico is off the small hats, right? But the thing about the small hats is they have what you know as a Samson option, where they can't get their wishes, they can't get their plans to fall through, and they're going to kill everybody. You can look that up, the Samson option. So if things are not going their way, their plan is to nuke everything. All right? You have Cuba, which is being about to be invaded. Power is out constantly. Venezuela going through it. This place is being surrounded, man. It's like, man, I watched a movie last night. Actually, a series. It's a detective series. It's a detective series where you gotta figure it out. And it's like damn near every character had a motive to kill the dude that was killed. It's looking like that for America. Everybody has a motive to take this place out. Everybody is motivated to destroy Babylon because everything that she's doing. Who wouldn't want to take her out? Shoot. So as it says, all ye that bend the bow, whoever has nuclear missiles, whoever has missiles in general, shoot at her, spare no arrows, send everything you got. Nuclear warfare is something that will not be repeated because of the level of destruction that comes with it. So once it happens, it happens. It is what it is. And that's the end. The next war, as Einstein said, I think that was Einstein said, it will be fought with sticks and stones because of the power of nuclear war. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahawah. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of Yahawah. Take vengeance upon her, as she have done, do unto her. Divine energy will be used. Chariots, ICBM missiles, nuclear warfare. This is divine energy. The sun being heated up, where you have Edomites dying in Europe, ongoing by the thousands. El Nino, super El Nino at that. Weather patterns getting extremely worse. This is divine energy. Divine energy, man. Okay? The Most High is visiting this place. So this is his vengeance, as it says, for it is the vengeance of Yahawah. Take vengeance upon her, as she have done, do unto her. And that furthermore also supports free will not existing, because he's using these different nations to what? To come at America, as he said. Let's get that. Zephaniah 3:8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahawah, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination, this is what the Most High is determined to do. So it's going to get done. We talk about our power. Oh, he's determined to do this. You think he's not going to achieve it? He's not going to be successful in his endeavor? He's going to do it. He's determined. He's just boasting right there. Yeah, I'm determined to do it. You about to do that. He determined. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation. So he's going to do it. To pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Then he lets you know this is what's going to happen. This is conclusion. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy, because my determination is going to happen. So he's gathering the nations. He's putting spirits upon these nations, and he's bringing them where he wants them to be. All right? There's no such thing as free will. He sends forth angels to push them to do whatever he wants them to do. And it's going to happen. So, hey, man. We say what they won't say. All right. Let me see. One more precept I want to get, then I'm going to get up out of here. Where is this at? Ezekiel 44 and 23. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the profane. All right. So examining that. Teaching our people the difference between holy and profane. Our people love profane. They love, these women love to go and shake their ass for everybody to see. They love to go and commit adultery. They love to go and cheat. They love to have this the nigga ain't shit, that type of mentality, bro. That's constant. I was talking to my grandma yesterday, and what was we talking about? We was talking about something. Oh, these people got married. And she was like, did you see that? I was like, nah, I ain't see that, but I know how they get down. And she was like, yeah. We know how people are. Some of my cousins got married. I'm like, I know how they get down. I already know how they get down, so I already know what the activities was. You know how Jake is. They are extremely profane. Okay? You know what type of music they playing. You know they smoking weed. You know they heavily drinking. You know they gonna be inebriated. No balance is with them. So you already know how Jake is. So for us to come and teach them the difference between the holy and profane, to tell them that everything that they're doing is wrong, and we tell them what is right, then we say what they won't say, what your pastors have never been able to say, because they're paid. They have to follow a certain script to keep you to come to the church and give them their money. That money. We don't need your money, buddy. Okay? So we're not required by the standard of the white man. We're required by the standard of Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi. And that's a far better standard. So we can say what they won't say. So we're going to tell you that, yeah, you going off by doing this and you doing that and you doing this and you doing that. We're going to bring it to you. And cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. You're supposed to have enough discernment after the lesson is given to you to discern if you're living the correct way or the incorrect way. Hey, the brother said Leviticus 11 chapter, let me read that to learn what I should eat and what I shouldn't eat. Dang, it's saying here we can't eat lobster, crab, shrimp, shellfish, crawfish, lobster, calamari, whatever. Everything that I thought was a delicacy. Dang, this brother saying this. Hold up. Well, I guess the scriptures say it. So I guess it's wrong. Jake get to guessing. It ain't no guessing with this. That's the most I said, man. What's that in? Oh, that's one of them. That's a good precept. I just can't remember it. It's basically no in between. Oh, he gave you straight commandment. Let's get that. I think it's like 2nd Esdras. He gave you straight commandment. That means that it ain't no in between the lines you got to read. He gave you straight commandment. So it ain't no guessing game that you play with the Most High. This is 2nd Esdras 7 and 27. For power have given straight commandment to such as came what they should do to live, even as they came what they should observe to avoid punishment. He has given you straight commandment. He's not sugarcoating it. He's giving it to you straight. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him and imagined vain things. So after we discern, after we break down what's holy and profane, it's up to you. All right? But what? It leads to a controversy. And that's the point being. It leads to this truth leads to a controversy. We are being talked about like we ain't shit. When we are the fathers of this world that actually take care of their kids. We are those men. But we being talked about like we ain't shit. Well, what is going on here? But that's what's supposed to happen. So, and in controversy, they shall stand in judgment. And they shall judge it according to my judgment. According to whose judgments? Yahawah, Shem, Yahawashi's judgments. His standard. Like I said, we're not going operating off the white man's standard, which would tell you that you can't say the true names and you got to teach the people Jesus and you got to tell them they can eat this and that. No, we're not going off an earthly standard, but we're going off a divine standard. And they shall judge it according to my judgments. And they shall keep my laws and my statutes and all mine assemblies and they shall hallow my Sabbaths. None of that says is of us. It's all of Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. So in controversy, so we know it's gonna be, you're gonna have an issue with it. Great. Have an issue with it. But you can't change it. You can't do nothing against it. Alright? You're done. You're stuck. It's the truth. You know? Have an issue all you want. Okay? In controversy, we shall stand. In all boldness. Right? Okay. Shalom, Yahawah Shem Yahawashi Barak. 2 Chronicles 36:16. But they mocked the messengers of power and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of Yahawah arose against his people till there were no remedy. Hey, perfect. That's perfect. That's it. So that's what they're supposed to do. So in controversy, that's controversy. Them mocking, scoffing, hating, persecuting, killing the prophets. That's controversy. We're supposed to continue. What a person says about this truth should not change you teaching this truth. Alright? You know, what they say, they can do nothing for the truth. Let's get that. They can't do nothing against this thing. Okay? This is 2 Corinthians 13:8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Can't do nothing against it. This is it. It stands. A lot of people talk, but guess what? The word that stands forever is Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. That's the words that stand forever. Everybody got something to say, especially in this day and age. You know, everybody's a social media influencer now. Everybody got some influence. Hey, this is why the Most High created a standard such as kings, such as prophets, such as priests. These are the people that are supposed to have the influence, not the common individual in the nation. You know? But now you have common. I've been watching House of the Dragons, man, and they heavy on common folk, lowborn and highborn, you know. But he's lowborn. He can't have a dragon. And well, we got one though. What you gonna say to him now? That's how Esau looks at us, as lowborn, you know. They like, man, how he got that? As it says in 2nd Esdras, I think it's the 2nd chapter. They shall envy us, but they won't be able to do anything against us. You know? So it's beautiful. It don't matter where I'm born, where you think I'm born. Oh man, you know, you supposed to be born in New York. You a prophet. You could be born in a country ass town like myself. It's just that the spirit is dealing with you, man. You come from wherever, man. The Most High raised you up, he raised you up. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shalom to my brother Yahawah Shem Yahawashi Barak. Barakatham to you and your household, bro. You know? So in controversy we shall stand. Having boldness, having strength, standing up. This is why, furthermore, this is not for women to go forth and teach. Because they're not going to be able to stand in controversy. A man jumping all in your face, cussing at you, things of that nature. No. What is a female going to do out there on the corner, man? Right? And this is what you women need to consider if you thinking about preaching. That ain't what you're supposed to do. You're defenseless. That man is going to, an average man could fold a woman. Right? That's just how naturally we are created, stronger than a female. You know? So this is for the men to stand in controversy. All right. So, hey, man, we're going to wrap it up around here. Okay. It's a rank, it's an order, it's a structure. All this stuff is created for a purpose, because the Most High is not an author of confusion. Everybody does not need a voice. You have a government. You have men of that government, the elect, the 144,000. Okay? So, with that being said, these are the ones that's doing the delegations. These are the ones that Yahawashi has set up in those positions to rule over and to look over the nation at this point in time. These are who you go for to get the understanding and the breakdowns and the corrections and the rebukes and all of this. Right? As it always was done. Isaac entreated himself. He went to the prophets to find out what was going on in his woman's stomach. Well, actually to get her even pregnant because she was barren. And then Rebecca went to the prophets to find out what was going on. You go to the government to figure out what is going on. But at this point in time, our people, they're branching off their mind. They're going off their mind. You think this, you think that, you think this, you think that. Well, go back to what Yahawashi has said and stated, and stop playing the guessing game. All right? But we say what they won't say, man. Okay? That's it. So, hey, with that being said, the water for the precepts. I pray this was edifying, man. Halalyam la Yahawashi, as always. All right. Giving all praise, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Kakadash. And double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone as always. Shalom to the Lord, to who elect. Kwam Yasha Allah, and a Bible bar. Keep the faith. Shalom. Shalom.